Hello, welcome to today's lesson on Axis 1 Mood Disorders, Depressive Disorders. First, let's go over some basics. Psychology is the study of mental and behavioral processes and functioning. A mental disorder is a significant disruption or impairment of psychological functioning. And the DSM-4 lists and explains the criteria and symptoms of mental disorders. It has 5 axes, and today we will be looking at Axis 1, clinical syndromes and disorders, specifically mood disorders.
Depressive disorders are emotional disorders primarily characterized by sadness, depression, and despondency. Despondency is a state of low mood or emotion caused by a loss of courage or hope. Mainly in depression, we talk about despondency as being a feeling of hopelessness. And there are 2 main depressive disorders. Major depressive disorder is characterized by 1 or more episodes of deep and intense depression. This is the type of depression that just knocks people off their feet. And then dysthymic disorder is a chronic moderate depression that lasts 2 or more years. As I said before, major depressive disorder is the type of depression that is nearly completely debilitating. Case studies are always helpful to understand what depression looks like. So Mary has been having trouble getting to work every day. She's spending most of her time in bed but is fatigued all the time. She feels like she's moving through molasses and has trouble communicating at work and home. She cries easily, feels that everything is her fault, and sees no hope for life to improve. The simple act of getting dressed is overwhelming, and showering is nearly impossible. She's not eating and finds no pleasure in things she previously enjoyed doing. She often feels worthless and has been trying to fight off thoughts that everyone would be better off if she were dead. Mary's symptoms are typical of depression. Though we often associate depression with overeating and oversleeping, people with depression with typical symptoms of depression often eat very little and have trouble sleeping, which causes weight loss and more fatigue, which can make the depression worse. Dysthymic disorder is a chronic and nearly constant low-level depression experienced on most of the days over at least 2 years. Typically, people with dysthymic disorder report feeling down and depressed. The total lack of hope found in major depressive disorder isn't found in dysthymic disorder. However, a constant feeling of pessimism or a negative view of things, of most things, is present in this disorder. They report low self-esteem, and even in the face of accomplishments or when it's obvious to the contrary that they have a lot of skills and gifts, they still experience these periods of low self-esteem, and their energy is low, and while they work and care for themselves, it may be very tiring for them. If you've ever read or seen Winnie the Pooh stories, Eeyore is a good example of dysthymic disorder. He's kind of always like, I don't know, maybe it's not a good idea, you shouldn't ask me. Kind of that slow, low talking type of a feeling is similar to dysthymic disorder. In conclusion, today we learned about mood disorders and specifically depressive disorders. We learned that the symptoms of and looked at a case study of major depressive disorder. We also talked about dysthymic disorder and how it differs from major depressive disorder. This concludes today's lesson on Axis 1 Mood Disorders, Depressive Disorders. Thank you for participating.